All right. Hey guys, welcome to NewWayStories. You just missed a riveting conversation about haircuts and beard trimming. It's sometimes when you start talking before the pod and you get done with a conversation, you go, how did we not record such riveting conversation about how Jesse's lazy about getting a haircut? Yeah. But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the audience. But you missed it.
We'll remember next time.
You missed it, and that's just the thing that you gotta hang out with me. You know, those are the gems that
We're gonna put it up on our Patreon.
Oh, Patreon! Great point. Although I already said we didn't record. We'll redo the conversation and record it, and that'll be behind our paywall. What if we just had the worst behind the paywall content out there?
It's all about our personal grooming habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of a Colgate guy.
Hey, Darius explains why he does 8 reps instead of 12. 5-minute clip. Well worth your $5 a month. We're only posting 1 clip a month. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, today we're getting back into a little bit of traditional New Way stories in the sense that we're going to talk about kind of a creative philosophical idea, and that is simplicity versus complexity in creativity.
Ooh, I like it. That's the title. We were trying to come up with the title.
Yeah,
but I think that's the title.
I don't know if it'll pack as much of a punch if you're not able to, say it exactly how I said it.
I'll do it in all caps. Yeah. Simplicity.
In
complexity. In creativity.
So hey, if you're new to the show, welcome to New Way Stories. My name is Jesse. I am your host. With me, as always, Darius Giles.
That's me.
Our producer.
And Robert De Niro, it looks like over there.
And our producer, Robert De Niro, after he lost all the weight after Raging Bull. I mean, he's still probably in super great shape post Raging Bull. He's just not a heavyweight fighter anymore.
And me and him are also having a kid. He just had a kid. I'm having a kid.
De Niro. Oh, that's right. De Niro.
That's wild.
Does it get you? Do you feel ashamed to be a man, or do you go, yeah, we still got it?
I'm gonna say, we still got it.
At 80 years old, we can still procreate.
That's crazy.
I don't know how old he is. He's got to be sniffing 80.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Sniffing it in the neck, just coming up behind it, putting his nose in the hair of 80. And giving it a sniff.
He is 81. He is taking a big whiff of 80.
81 years old. I definitely thought sex was way out the window after 81. I didn't realize that was still happening.
My doctor told me it was supposed to stop at 30. So that is something I'm gonna.
Your heart is definitely not healthy enough at 30. You go, don't even think about it in your 50s. Let alone your 80s.
How old is his child's mother?
I'm trying to figure that out. She's not
75. More of a miracle, honestly.
She's older than him.
He's a bit of a cougar hunter. She's 102.
They were actually eggs frozen from Betty White. So they artificially inseminated Timothy Chalamet, and he's giving birth to the baby. This is a whole lot of stuff wrapped into one.
Seahorse, man. That guy.
What is that? Oh, you mean because seahorse men can
seahorse males are the ones that give birth.
I just thought that was a random nickname you were throwing out for Chalamet.
Have you guys haven't heard that yet? I mean, Chalamet is just a real seahorse. Like, he's kind of small, but so adorable.
That guy's an anemone, I'll tell you that much. Is a mystery.
He's an anemone of
the state.
Single women everywhere. I
don't know. She is 45 years old.
Still
That's not crazy.
Pretty good. I would say both of them are at an age that I'm surprised that they're having a baby.
I would say his kids are probably the most
kids
surprised.
Are more surprised. Definitely more surprised. His 63-year-old kid goes, good. good. I'm gonna have
great.
I'm gonna have a sibling the age of my grandkid. That's not weird at Thanksgiving. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Dad.
It is sad to think about because there's no way, like this child is going to grow up watching his father slip into senility.
I don't know what that word means. But
senility. The
Jesse's already starting it,
senile.
So he doesn't know.
Into senility.
Yes,
Gotcha.
You can't say slip into senile. I mean, you can slip into senile. Ben,
Are
would you please
people
write down?
who are well into the soliloquies. They're just when they say that they go, "Oh, this guy's spitting some crazy soliloquies right now." Just
that's what they called. That's actually a volume of Shakespeare's later work, just called soliloquies.
Still sticks to iambic pentameter. Actually, really well. It just doesn't make sense.
My thumb at thee, I really do. I haven't had any of my brain in my shoe. It's not our favorite stuff, Bill.
But name self. So you just Billy. It's not great.
We're not loving it.
But not your worst either.
We're not hating it.
I think Pete Holmes has a bit about Seinfeld slipping into dementia. I think I've maybe mentioned this before, but he goes, he's standing, at the window of the nursing home. And he goes, "What's the deal with these curtains?" But he has forgotten what curtains are. Yeah. So
what's the deal with window hanger things?
So thank you, Robert, for all of your hard work and great films. But also thank you for this 5-minute intro. That was totally worth it. Totally worth it. I hope he's having a baby. Is that?
He had it.
He had it. Okay. I think when you realize you've impregnated a lady, I think any time past 80, you go, boy, I hope I can make it 9 months to see the birth of this child. Okay. Simplicity versus creativity. Now,
you mean complexity?
That too. Simplicity versus creativity. We don't want to. No. Yeah. I'm actually gonna make an argument for simplicity, even though I misspoke right there. Simplicity versus complexity.
I'm gonna make an argument for senility.
And listen,
I'm gonna make an argument for disability.
At a certain point.
Nice try. No one's gonna buy that crap, Ben.
At a certain point, you can slip into it and enjoy the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's mentally. It's like the Zen thing that we're all striving for mentally. You're just putting a lot on your loved ones.
I'm just waiting.
You just don't know
when I'll be able to pass off that I can't wipe my butt. Like if I have
you start faking it 15 years early.
Yeah.
And then when you really can't do it, they're gonna know. They go, "This was different 3 months ago." Now he really can't wipe, and he's been pulling the wool over our eyes for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Crafty. A sheep. A sheep in wolf's clothing. Wolf in sheep's clothing. I keep mixing stuff up, guys. I don't know.
No, bro. No. Don't let it get under you're on fire today. Genuinely, I'm in a blast.
Yeah, so simplicity versus creativity. That one I did on purpose, but you didn't even know. Simplicity versus complexity. All right, we're gonna have to start getting the beeper out. I'm gonna start using some swear words here. Okay, I was watching a Lynyrd Skynyrd documentary.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now we're back. And they talked about this new kid that they got as a guitar player. And Ronnie Van Zant, the lead singer of Skynyrd, he always wanted a live concert to sound exactly what it was on the record. Okay? So he didn't want to be a jam band. This was the argument back then. It was like the Allman Brothers and Skynyrd. The Allman Brothers, you go to a concert, it's a different thing every time because they're just out there having fun. They're not really great songwriters. They're just an awesome jam band.
Yeah.
Skynyrd, on the other hand, wanted to sing the songs you heard them on the record. So
sounds like the vocalist was calling the shots.
Yeah.
That is the most classic.
Was the leader.
That is the most classic. The vocalist being like, I don't want the music to be fun. I just want people to enjoy the songs.
So
it's like, yeah, well, it's because the only part that you get to do.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I'll give you Freebird and nothing else. They go, all right, cool. We got 15 minutes of the concert.
Yeah.
So new kid, he's like a younger brother of one of the backup singers, and you can see in like one of the first concerts back, he's doing a solo, and you can see Ronnie like smirking because he's so into like what this kid is doing. But cool. Here's the thing, he's playing almost identical music as what is already recorded on the record.
That grosses me out. Ronnie grosses me out.
What is the difference between somebody playing one thing and somebody else playing that same thing, but that person being a better musician, making it sound better? Go. I wanted to pitch it to you guys because you know more about music.
You're saying what is the thing, like not better musician, but
I think
better,
if you break it down,
a better technical guitar player, a guitar player who's technically more skilled, playing something that is easier for him to play.
Maybe.
What do you mean by the question?
Well, so I find it interesting that they're playing the same notes. Yeah. And if you break it down, right, like you and I could play a scale, a basic scale on the guitar, but if you play the scale, it's going to sound better.
Sure.
Right? Even though it's the basic scale. So I think for me, I think you've mastered simplicity.
What makes something simple sound good? I don't even think about that. That's a crazy prompt. That's a really cool prompt. That's why I wasn't getting it, because I don't even think about that.
Well, so from the Skynyrd perspective, theoretically, these guitar parts should sound the exact same. And maybe to the untrained ear, you go, yeah, that was Sweet Home Alabama. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But
yeah, of course.
But Ronnie's looking at it and being like, man, this kid is good. Like,
well, is he saying this kid is good, or I might have to jump away from your illustration to get to the heart of what you're saying.
Let's do another.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't know what
new episode title.
It sounds like Ronnie's motive in that moment is he wants it to sound identical. So he's not excited because the kid is so good. He sounds like he's excited because he finally found a musician that would just do whatever he told him to do. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. As a musician, as a guitar player, that it's maybe just triggering to the times a worship pastor has been like, could you just play it exactly like the CD? I'm like, yeah.
Play what exactly how the song plays it?
What if you just played a track and instead of giving me a real guitar, you gave me an inflatable guitar and I stood up there with my underwear on my head and I just listened to the track. Wouldn't that be just as cool? And that's how I feel about that bullcrap. So, but also taking my personal feelings out
trauma.
I'm also not a very good guitar player compared to a lot of the worship pastors that I've worked with. Like when you play guitar and like Manny Garza is the MD, you're like, well, nothing I'm going to do is going to impress this guy. So if he tells me it's not good, then he is right. It's not good, even if he's annoying in that moment.
It's okay. They don't listen.
Yeah. Well, you never know who's gonna listen, and then
it'll get back to him.
I would hate to have to fight Manny Garza. It would be a bad look for everyone. It would be a bad look for everyone. His kids would be sad, and I would also be sad. That's so
I still think we should. We should. If anybody's into animation, listen. Celebrity Pastor Deathmatch.
I like what we think Manny Garza is a celebrity pastor.
It just brought it back.
Yeah. Celebrity pastor Manny Garza.
You could do the undercard could be, your budding churches, where people go, I don't really know this guy's name, but that was a fight. That was a good fight.
So all
for the Craig Rochelle main card.
I would hate to fight Manny Garza and then get beat up by Kayla subsequently. So my point is that
that's why their kids are sad. They didn't want to see that side of their mom.
They didn't want to see that side of their mom again. You told us you wouldn't do this again, Mom. Quiet, mijo.
Why does Kayla sound like that?
You never know when someone's going to say mijo. You never know. It could be a white person saying mijo.
This might be cultural appropriation.
Quiet.
If I have a son, I 100% am calling him mijo because that sounds way cooler than son.
Yeah.
It does indeed. Oh, yeah.
All right, keep going.
So I don't know what the Skinner thing was, but when you asked us to make a list of the best simple things, Sweet Home Alabama is at the top of that list,
right? And DCG,
it's not just the guitar part; it's literally everything in the song. The drums are simple and they're in the pocket. The bass guitar is simple and it's in the pocket. The melody is simple and it slaps. The theme of the song is it means nothing. The song is about absolutely nothing except for that they like Alabama.
They like Alabama.
And they say
they're
a lot
not
of things.
They're from Alabama. They're from
crazy.
Florida.
Where?
Florida.
I don't know if that's quite right.
Did you know
Tallahassee, Florida?
I wouldn't go toe to toe with Jess on Leonard Skinner facts, but you could each be right. I don't know. I don't have the guts to argue about it. But
they're 100% from Florida. That's not in question.
Jamie, can you look that up, Jamie? Jamie, can you pull it up? But yeah, I think there is something about a musician playing something like John Batiste. I don't know if you guys listen to John Batiste. He's a literal genius. He's a freak of nature musician. But who is he paving the way for? That's what I've always asked.
This guy has got it, but who's next? That's a John the Baptist joke for all you Christian folks out there.
He's like, man, I would like to find a musician whose sandals I'm not fit to untie.
Just lays his records down. He goes, I'm so unworthy.
I must become less and he must become more.
Taylor Swift says, you're right.
It is what Taylor Swift would say, to be honest. She likes
do need to become more. Keep going. Jean Baptiste.
Nothing. I just think you're right. Playing something simple, but playing it really well is a profound thing. I
think that, okay, so Sweet Home Alabama, I came up with Tom Petty. As far as music goes.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed to find somebody from the 70s and 80s that has more hits. And it's mostly 3 chords. Singing is not great per se. No, you know what I mean? No one's listening to Tom Petty and they're like, this guy can do it. Honestly, his vocals are top tier Roadhouse act. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you heard him singing you'd at a Roadhouse on a Friday night, you'd be like, this sounds correct.
Yeah, I'm going to kick Patrick Swayze's ghost in the face. It's a double entendre right there.
Exactly. And then Jeff Healey's like, I'm going to jump in, but he's not really great in a fight because he's blind. But also,
he
stars in Roadhouse.
There's not a single
They don't know who Jeff Healey is. They don't know what Roadhouse is. They barely know who Swayze is at this point.
Do you mean that Conor McGregor movie?
Oh, boy.
But I think Tom Petty's the rock and roll troubadour. He took the Bob Dylan thing and did it with the 70s and 80s rock sound.
Now, I think you could, obviously you make an argument that the stories that are told through the music, but I think that, again, they're still simple, but they hit in such a way that make them lasting.
Yeah, you have to define simple. If we're going to talk about what the best simple stuff is, there's definitely just room for different definitions there. Because,
I think that the misnomer is that simple is easy, right?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case. Let's see here. I have a quote. I have a quote that I heard. Blase Pascal. A French guy? I don't know. I heard the quote. I have no idea who Blaise Pascal is. But he
Not
said
French, dude. I can't
he said you're gonna have to bleep a lot of this out, but no, I'm just kidding. That's because it's French. Pardon my French, but he said I'm writing a long letter because I don't have time to write a short one.
Yeah.
So the idea of like, even though it's simple, it actually takes more effort and more time to like make something simple and concise that is good. I think another good example is the Great British Baking Show. Bake Off.
Yes.
If you guys have watched that, Kate and I watch it.
I'm watching a season of it right
nightly. We watch it essentially every night, but it's
an hour-long episode.
We watch like a challenge. We dip in for a challenge.
That's a much easier bite.
Dip out. Yeah.
I cannot get all the way through a showstopper and still know what's going on. After they do the signature, the showstopper starts, and I'm like, they're all pretending that they're making something beautiful, and in the end, it's all going to be freaking baked bread stacked on top of each other.
And sometimes it is. So I think there's two different things in that, is that you have basic baking skills, right? And techniques.
Yeah.
And some people go, I'm going to make, this is actually kind of a simple bake, and so I have to nail it. And when they nail it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is Paul Hollywood. He's like, it's simple, but it's quite effective. He takes a bite of it. He's like, this is amazing.
Bake.
But then you have the people. You have the people who try. They go, I'm hitting 5 different baking methods here. I'm going to show them my skills, and then they bite off way more than they can chew, and literally, and they choke. They bite off more than they can chew, and then they choke, and then it's a sadder episode because the guys couldn't get there in time to do the Heimlich, and.
We've been talking about that. We've been talking about how we're going to do a Squid Games GBBO crossover.
A crossover.
Yeah. Oh,
I've described this podcast
is just
like that.
Baked, and then
just
and then Brew shoots them in the face.
Welcome to South Africa. It's a Prue Will Smith crossover. I found out recently she's from South Africa.
Checks out.
So yeah, but like the simple concepts can pack a real punch, and I think a lot of creatives try for like the sexy or the complex, because if you can nail that, you like feel more affirmed as a creative. But I think you need to strive for simplicity, and then you can make an argument that like as you go, all of a sudden the more and more complex becomes simple for you.
Yeah. Yep.
And so like you should be putting out, I'm talking myself into this right now. I didn't think through this.
All right.
But I'm loving it.
Okay.
You should be putting out the stuff that is simple for you to create.
Simple.
Right? Simple in the idea of you've mastered that technique.
Yes.
While you're continuously progressing. Mm-hmm. And then when the next more quote unquote difficult element becomes simple, that's the next thing you should be putting out as a creative. I have a latte art that is, I always want to call it a poinsettia. That's not correct. I really am not great at latte art compared to other great latte art people. But
I mean, that's very humble of you. In the grand scheme of things, you're not going to win a latte art competition.
Yeah. I did get second one time.
It was a little thing called the World Barista Art Competition. So, like I said, I'm not that good.
So, someone claimed the tulip, like a 3 or 4 tier tulip,
Calvinists,
is easier. Touche.
Sorry.
I did a stand-up joke. This is a quick rabbit trail. I did a stand-up joke or a stand-up set for a Reformed church and school, like their Christmas party. It was
Yeah.
a delayed Christmas party last week.
Man, they must have laughed so quiet.
Yeah, actually, it was a good crowd. I was very surprised. But I have a joke.
The lead pastor uncrosses his legs, and someone's like, "Oh my God,
This guy is hilarious."
He's gonna die of laughter."
I have a joke that talks about how much money Kate makes and how little money I make, and I say I'm a modern man though. Like, I want Kate to go after her dreams. She can do whatever she wants, just as long as she cooks and cleans. That's the joke. And then usually I then say,
the Reformed Church.
yeah. So
sure.
usually I say, guys, we're not supposed to laugh at that. But there's a pretty big laugh, and I said that joke does way better in the Reformed crowd than the non-denoms, and that got an even bigger laugh.
That's so good. Oh yes, you're a real hero. I love you.
So, where did we go from the rabbit trail? Tulips.
I'll be
And what's the other? Ben, look it up. What are the two latte art? Oh my gosh.
Tulips, a heart,
And there's another leaf.
like a fun little face.
No, there's a leaf that it sounds kind of like poinsettia, but I can't ever come up with it. Anyway.
Latte, heart, tulip, a Rosetta.
Rosetta.
A bear? Why is there a bear on here?
Oh, you can do a bear. It's pretty sick.
What?
Yeah, you have to draw it a little bit, but it's fun. You
Wait,
just
let me
do
look
like,
this
it's
up.
a teddy bear. Like, you just do 3, like, Mickey.
Oh my gosh.
You just do Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse ears in a face, and then you can just draw the nose and little whiskers and a little ear. It's easy.
Have you ever tried this before?
Yeah, I was doing it at Stone Church for people for a little bit. Let me see it. Which one are you talking about?
Should I put it up on the screen?
Sure.
I'll put it on the screen. This is the cutest
One
thing
time,
I don't drink these things, but I would.
Yeah. This one's a little more in depth than mine, but I just do the nose and the eyes. But I like the
kind of looks like a dog.
I agree. You have to the ears. The snout was too big on that one. Yeah, you can make an argument that
Stupid AI.
that
Gosh.
looks more like. Anyway, I've already forgotten it. The Rosetta.
Yes.
Some would say the Rosetta is more difficult than the tulip, but that's the one that I find more simple. So I do it, and I can do it like regularly.
Yeah.
More often.
Yeah.
I'm working on the tulip, but apparently, if you had to gauge difficulty level, the tulip is technically easier.
Yeah.
But I suck at it. So the Rosetta is the one that I do. That was the whole point. It's more simple, so that's the one I'm throwing out. Especially if I want to impress somebody. If I want to get on their Instagram that day.
Yeah.
Throw out the Rosetta.
You ever try to just draw a heart? Just like normal, draw a heart.
So you can do.
On a piece
are you
of
talking
paper,
about
I
like
mean?
on a piece of paper? Yeah, I mean,
It's hard.
It's never the
it's
same.
never right.
It's the same as my Batman. My Batman symbol.
I'm trying to buy that. Yeah.
My left wing is always more curved,
Of course.
than my right wing. So it's
Yeah.
like curved and then like almost like a. I don't know.
And what about your Nightwing?
Nightwing is even more difficult. Nightwing, more favorite superhero just for what, he uses his scrimma sticks. It's sick. As far as symbols go, there's not a better symbol to me than the Batman symbol.
That's true. What about the
Simplicity?
cross, Jesse?
Huh?
I think you heard me. I said, what about the cross? A better symbol?
Good point. I was watching Arrested Development, and maybe wants to like pose as a Christian, and she goes, "Do you guys know where I could get one of those necklaces that have like the T on it?" And Michael goes, "The cross." Am I drawing? What am I drawing? I'm drawing
You're buying the Batman symbol.
All right. You guys talk
man.
for 5 seconds.
We're
2
gonna
to
go
3
ahead and
minutes.
talk.
It takes me a bit.
Ben, we're gonna talk for a few minutes. Just me and you having a good old time talking while Jesse draws.
We're going to talk about...
I said it backwards.
We're gonna talk about politics for 3 minutes.
No, we're gonna talk about how I rewatched Endgame, and I wouldn't have let it through to the final round if I rewatched it again.
Yeah,
There it
that's
is.
good. That looks like a birthmark.
So obviously on one side, I think this is the side that I start with because I start with the half C, and then I try and connect it. And it's this is actually the thing in my latte art as well. I struggle so much with symmetrical.
You know what? Sorry.
Well,
keep the paper. I want you to do. Okay, so that's like the classic Batman one. That's the one you have on your arm. Do the Dark Knight one.
I don't even know.
You don't know what the Dark Knight one looks like? I feel like that one's pretty easy.
The Dark Knight one goes. It's level with the wings.
It's like top, and then
it has a little.
You'd have to show it. You'd have to show it to me.
Yeah. It's hard to keep all those in your head.
Speaking of simple, the same guy designed the IBM logo. Do I have that pulled up still?
I was wrong.
Ben, this is just Ben wanted to draw the Dark Knight symbol, so he worked it into conversation. He's crafty like that.
He's been mind gaming us this whole time.
I think that here it is.
Here we
This is
go.
it.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's really good though, Ben. You're much better at that.
Ben, are you a little drawer? You a little drawer?
You little drawer, are you?
Ben, are you
Yeah,
a little
okay.
drawer? Ben, you like to
Check this
draw?
out.
Are you a little? Can I
Paul
pull you
Rand.
out of can I pull you out of a chest? Are you a little drawer?
Speaking of simplicity and like effectiveness, Paul Rand
Yes.
designed the IBM, UPS, and ABC logos.
This is the Ben Affleck one.
Ben, keep drawing those. Just draw as many variations as you can, and just come in every 2.5 minutes with another one. This is what I call the ice bat. He's coming up. He's sharing his own designs with us.
This one is for if he has to pose as a male stripper. It goes on his trunks. Okay, I'll be back. This one is for if he had twin sons and one of them used a sword and the other a bow and arrow.
Sorry.
I wonder how many different variations of the Batman symbol.
I have especially at school, I
Yes,
would have
Ben.
a page full of them.
See, I would
That's
draw
so
the
cool.
same. I would draw the same symbol over and over again. That was like my classic doodle.
Yeah, 1,000
And I
kicks.
remember
10,000
I
kicks.
remember a girl
Classic.
go. She goes, "Why do you draw bats all the time?" And I was like, "Well, it's the Batman symbol, but."
I guess you're not incorrect.
Yeah, but I was like, that's kind of fun that you like. I guess I'm close enough that you are like, hey, that's a bat. I've never been a good drawer.
It would have been so great for you to just like pull your long hair emo across your face and say,
I identify with their solace and their darkness.
Bruce Wayne
That's what I would
is
have
the
done.
mask. Like trying to get into that, just a super deep nerd conversation.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is another side note, and then we'll get back into simplicity and complexity. We were watching Survivor last night. Kate and I have we got a
routine
thing.
going on.
Thai Thursday.
10 minutes
And
of
a little
Survivor, 10 minutes of Great British Bake Off.
Exactly. Thai Thursday, little
10 hours in the
Survivor.
toilet after the Thai food.
And this guy goes, he goes, I'm a nerd. I talk about things. He's also a Swiftie. He goes, but I'm just not like connecting with people. And it throws me off because I'm like 5 minutes onto that island. I'm asking every person because he was like, I feel like I can't talk about the stuff that I'm interested in. And like 5 minutes in, I'm finding the interest, like the common interest of me and every single person.
You want to survive.
Also, I mean, obviously, movies are, everybody watches at least a movie, even if someone's like, oh, I'm not really into movies. You're like, you have a favorite movie, though.
You've seen a movie.
You've seen a movie.
Yeah.
So I can talk about any sort of
Books,
any sort of movie,
music,
right? Movie, books.
woodworking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Obviously, not
so
everyone
It was just like
can do
strange
that.
to me. But then he goes, I'm just going to like go for it and unashamedly like talk about it. So there's a guy who's like in a band.
This is the Batman.
He's in a band.
The concise. This is not it, man.
Can you point to
And he
your
recedes back into the
drawing
shadows.
point to the one Okay, that's the Batman.
It's not my best one.
That's Pattinson.
You guys need to watch. You have
Bobby
to watch
P.
the YouTube or wherever it's posted. Yeah.
2021.
Tony
When did it come out? 22.
Okay, keep going, Jess. Survivor.
Anyway, he challenged this guy who's in a rock band to like, you pick your
Sing
artist,
Oh.
and I'm doing T Swift, and how many songs can you name? And they got like, the guy picked Metallica, and I was like, that's actually a really good pick. But they got to 106 before the Metallica guy couldn't say another Metallica song.
Yeah. Yeah, Taylor Swift has written
and then
more
T Swift
music.
had, countless more. Here's
Her
my thing.
discography is insane.
Here's my thing. I probably could name you like 20 T Swift songs,
Sure.
which is a lot. I don't really listen to full albums very often, and I'm also terrible with song names. I'm really good with like bands and who sings it, and even years.
Sure.
For whatever reason, I'm a year guy.
Raymond.
I was
1976.
I was 5 years off of a movie at trivia. I go, yeah, that came out in like 92, right? And it was 87, and I was embarrassed. I was like, this is usually.
You're having like an identity crisis?
Dude, yeah, usually I'm a year. If I don't get it exactly, I'm a year either side of it, right?
Yeah.
Most movies I can get in that, but 5 years I was like, that's embarrassing.
This is the Keaton. This is the Keaton one when he has the extra little things on the bottom.
From The Flash?
No, it was in the
Keaton.
first one. It was the 89.
Oh, okay.
Michael Keaton.
Okay, I thought you were trying to just work in Flash material here, Ben. Oh, you almost
Don't
got
do
me. You almost got me so riled.
What's that guy's name that people love from The Flash? What's his name again?
Michael Keaton?
No,
George
the
Clooney
actor
at the
from. Oh, I'm thinking of the CW TV show. Pardon me. Never mind. Forget about it. Forget I said anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
I will.
Simple stuff. Simple stuff. The Survivor guy. That's simple. He
I think-
simply needs to learn how to talk to adults.
I think from a that is a new thing. That's a new thing that's on Survivor. Is you get like a 22-year-old and they're like computer programmer, and you go, all right, this kid's never talked to adults before. He's watched a lot of Survivor, and for some reason has never tried to build a fire and has never tried to communicate with an adult. And he goes, I think I can do Survivor. It looks fun.
I bet you could last the one. I bet you could do it.
Oh,
Dude.
Jesse would crush. Yeah,
Kate and I keep like literally after every episode, they're like, send in your casting tape, and we're like, we need to do it. I need to send it in.
You should.
And I need to just kind of do it consistently because you obviously probably need to,
This is like the Arkham.
Yes.
This is the Arkham one.
That's the best one. That's maybe
That was
best version
pretty
of
sick.
Batman is the Arkham games.
That was
Arkham
pretty
games
sick.
Batman. Most boring Bruce Wayne, coolest Batman from the Arkham games.
Paul, are you sure the 1989 has the extra?
On his suit, it did. I'm pretty
Is the
sure.
one
I
that-
remember
I don't
seeing
think
the.
so.
Oh, dude, we are getting real deep into this
I don't
drawing.
think so,
and
man. I
people
think
who are
it's the
listening
most. To
can't
me, it's like
see
the
any
most
of it.
classic Batman. Just the black part of it with the yellow. Who's a bigger Batman fan? I mean, Ben is technically a bigger Batman. Where? Oh, on his suit, it does have the extra, but
So Jesse's looking at the VHS
but
cover.
the symbol, yeah, the
Ben's looking at
VHS
his
cover.
Why would they do that? What a weird design.
Yeah, what a
choice.
weird
that must
choice.
Have been, that must
Because
have been
the
something that the costumes got made, and they're like, "Oh crap, we made them with the wrong symbol."
The symbol-
It has to be that.
the symbol on the VHS cover is better.
If you guys
It
don't know
is
what we're talking
cooler.
about,
Like-
and you're not following us, you can go Google the 1989
Batman.
Tim Burton Batman. Which, if you haven't seen it and you're not a nerd and you're like, "Who would watch that?" You should go watch it because
Dude,
it's really, really an
It is a good
interesting
movie.
piece of Americana. You could, like, yeah. You know who Tim Burton is. And
There was
he was everyone's last pick to direct a Batman movie,
like a
and
huge
directed
blockbuster.
maybe the best Batman movie. Maybe
At least
one of the top-
At least for 16 years.
Yeah, obviously the Christopher Nolan stuff is good for a different reason, but the Christopher Nolan stuff is not a comic book movie.
That's a great
Christopher
point.
Nolan's Batman is not a comic book movie.
It's a crime
It is a
movie.
gangster movie
Yep.
with a guy who dresses
Yeah.
like a bat.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So it's maybe it's in the top 5 comic book movies of all time for sure.
As far as entertaining goes, I'm taking Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever.
No.
All freaking day.
Yeah. F yeah. The movie that's mostly about Jim Carrey.
Oh, dude. Him and Tommy Lee Jones, man, are just at the height of
so
like
great.
over the top, corny villains.
And Tommy Lee like the fact that if you have seen some interviews that Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey.
Really?
Like,
I didn't never.
genuinely
That's so funny.
hated him, wouldn't talk to him, was rude and mean to him every day on and off set.
I mean, Jim Carrey and Robin Williams are both notorious for just like completely taking over. Like they can't turn it off.
Yeah.
They can't turn it off. They're just so like over the top and consistently trying to make people laugh.
Yep. Trying to break the crew.
Right.
Yeah. Ruining takes. This literally like Brittany when she would film stuff for us when we were kids, my wife, she would be like, why are you trying to ruin every take? And I was like, that's the best crap.
That's the point.
The whole point is that we can't get through the scene. And she's like, that's literally the opposite of
We're trying to make something here. We're trying to make a video.
I just watched the
either get the vision or get out, Brittany.
I just watched the shower scene.
What?
Whoa.
iRobot?
No. You two, when you guys are doing the camp shower and you guys are singing in the shower.
Oh, you watched our shower scene. That's much better.
Not the
shower scene. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say not the our shower scene, but one of our shower scenes.
I mean, I always watch that, and I think it's capturing because you're like, I'm watching this, and I don't want to miss a thing.
Nice. Everyone should go watch that video.
If you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube
Where do
somewhere.
you even find it?
Here's
Is
Batman
it
and
I
Robin.
think it's on your old, like
This is the Batman and Robin one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think
Make
it's
up a few
from.
now.
I think it's on your old, like Pasco youth group.
Okay,
What
I'll
was
find
it?
it.
Faith Ascent or something like that.
Let me pull it up.
I'm almost
Maybe.
positive it's on Faith Ascent, and it's been on there for like 9 years, and it's got like 18 views.
Yeah. It's
Can you like rip that and put it on New Way Stories YouTube?
Yeah,
Is that possible?
I can figure it out.
yeah.
Sick.
I can do it if you send me the link. I've just been doing
right.
it with a bunch of my old sermons anyway. Anyway,
So-
point being,
Yeah, you go.
that video is really funny.
It
That's a
has like
simple video.
3.1 thousand views. It's like 3,000 views.
Really?
That video has one joke. That's like a great example of like we did a lot of videos that did not hit, and especially as we got older, they were not hitting with 14-year-olds because we refused to do just a bunch of each other kicking each other in the nuts. Like we refused to do like as the Gen Zs came up, we refused to do like the craziness that was like popular with them, which is okay. Like we were wrong.
It shifted. Well, yeah, we were wrong in the sense of like, if we wanted to entertain a crowd, we were like, we're smarter than you children.
Yeah.
So you're going to listen to our comedy.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, the Jimmy Fallon effect set in, and you don't want written material. You want to capture something funny or crazy that you feel like you're a part of a moment.
I've never heard that said. That's wild. Where did you hear this Jimmy Fallon effect? That's
me.
genius.
That
is Jesse.
My diagnosis.
You're firing on 16 cylinders, my guy. That's phenomenal.
We started slow. We're not gonna watch this.
You're not
entire
gonna watch
thing.
it? Okay, fine.
No.
We'll watch it next week if you want.
You should go watch it, or
Go
we
watch
should
it.
do when we have more time. We should do like a react video to it. Speaking of catering to the freaking losers out there, we'll do a react video to our own video. So here's the thing is that back to I told you this is classic New Way Stories. We got onto a 12-minute Batman rant, and I'm gonna tie it back. I'm gonna bring it back. And I've said this before, is I think when you're starting out as a creative or like your goal as a creative, and in comedy, this was a big thing, was you want to be prolific, right? You want to be Louis C.K. You want, not like now, but at the time, as far as like the level of
Louis C.K.
comedy
15 years ago.
The level of comedy that you're doing. You wanted to be Richard Pryor, right? You wanted to be these guys who redefined comedy. You wanted to be prolific. You wanted to be able to attack.
Game.
You wanted to attack the man and make it hilarious at the same time. You wanted to make social change. You wanted to be prolific. But I learned pretty early on that a lot of people are trying to be prolific and they haven't mastered being funny yet. And so it's like you should try to be entertaining before you're prolific, and like dodging like low hanging fruit in comedy just because you're like, I'm above low hanging fruit is a bad idea. I was watching What We Do in the Shadows, and that is high level comedy.
Yeah.
It is. There's layers to every joke. There is funny character bits. There is physical stuff.
That fruit is hanging high.
But there's also low-hanging fruit that gets... I watch that show and I go, yeah, that was really funny. I'm blown away at how funny that is. Yeah. But then there was a bit where Nandor and then the girl character are...
Wow, Jesse, you don't take the time to memorize the girl character.
I mean, I'm so bad at character names. If you gave me some time, I could think about it. But Nandor is doing the bit.
This is absolute Batman.
That's not absolute Batman. That's just that's a rectangle with spikes
I know.
in it.
That's the big critique of it.
Who's there? Yeah, the big critique. They go
the big critique. Hey, your symbol looks stupid. Hey, I've got a big, huge, fat critique for you right here.
It looks like a rectangle with stalagmites on it, eh?
No. Hey, Jerry, those are stalactites.
Those are stalactites.
You're always forgetting stalagmites are the ones that start on the floor.
He does have a point. So they're co-leading the Vampiric Council, and Nandor goes, I'm kind of the leader, and she's my number 2. She goes, it's really important to have a firm number 2. And he just goes, he's making a poop joke, high level comedy, but Kate and I are laughing out loud at the poop joke. Yeah, Mo, why are you laughing? It is important to have a firm number 2. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about, like, we're kind of watching a resurgence of stand-up comedy over the last couple of years. It's a lot of stand-up comedians during COVID like blew up, and there's a lot of reasons why, I think, but I think it's coming as a reaction. And I'm not like somebody who loves a shock jockey and someone who's just saying terrible things just because they can. And they're like, freedom of speech, I can say what I want.
Yeah.
But that is a lot of like what has happened, because it's a response to comedy sucked from 2005 to 2020. Comedy, there were some great people. Pete Holmes was doing great stuff. John Mulaney was doing great stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
as far as like mainstream comedy, there was probably 3 comedians that like normal people were like, oh, this comedian's hilarious.
Well, and like Dave Chappelle was obviously, interestingly enough,
trying to find himself. Are you talking after that?
Becoming more Muslim every day.
Yeah.
There was like 15 years where, remember, like comedy clubs.
I watch Chappelle's stand up and I go, this is a devout Muslim. Don't you have that thought?
No.
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I think it's
I totally
Islam
that.
Islam and Christianity are very, very different. Islam doesn't have the kind of social coding that Christianity has, where like profanity is a big deal for them, or it's much more like ancient East to be a devout Muslim means that you are religious and that you do your prayers and that you believe the things. So they have different modalities for sure.
Believe the things. I would say we're similar in that. A good Christian should do their prayers and believe in things.
I just mean the social modality is different. Anyway, my point being, I don't know anything.
They're kind of like Chappelle's a square with stalagmites, is what I'm trying to say.
My point is, there was like 15 years where comedy clubs had rules where it was like you come to open mic and it was like no jokes at other people's expense.
Right.
No jokes that are like this or this or this or this. And like I understand why people don't want you to be a misogynist. I understand that. But it became like stand-up comedy was like just not good. And I would watch people doing stand-up and I was like, oh, you are not being funny. You're just sharing a bunch of like ideologies that you're angry about.
You're not allowed to be subversive.
Yeah.
And when
it was like a lot of preachy stuff too.
Well, I was
like,
going to say, but you're in an echo chamber. You're in an echo chamber of what you're preaching. It's no longer funny. You go, I'm going to be subversive and I'm going to like take down the man or whatever. And we're like, we're like, on
no
some
one's
of it, you're
listening
like,
to you anymore.
Hey, we're all on your side. Like the thing that
It's
you're
like,
saying, like you're not subverting any expectation, which is what comedy is at its most simple form. Is subverting expectations.
Nice.
Which is why my
actually, I think I've done that. You are announcing your retirement.
Yeah, so subverting your expectations.
7 months in, we're done.
Yeah, but Darius, you don't have any money. Yep, but I'm retiring.
I was actually just talking about this because I did another joke that didn't work as well at the Reformed Church. And it's the one about Dr. Seuss, right? That there's a headline that said Dr. Seuss is racist, and I say he's a white guy in the 40s. Of course he's racist. That's not a headline. If you can unequivocally prove that he's not a racist, then that's a headline. And I say, but then I went back and I looked just because I was curious, and I was a little surprised, actually. You guys probably have read this. Red fish, blue fish, brown fish are lazy. And it didn't get a huge laugh, and that's okay, because it's set up because I've now started doing when I'm at church shows. I talk about how I used to be a preacher, and when you're not getting laughs, it's easy because you can always just turn back to the Bible.
That's a great
And so I say, if anything doesn't work, I'm just going to go into a sermon that I have. So whenever, I had that one joke didn't get a laugh, and I go, okay, turn with me in your Bibles to Luke chapter 3. And then that gets them all back.
Dang, man, that's genius. Yes,
this is the Batman Begins. This was the Brave and the Bold. This is the logo that's on his suit.
Can you show me? Can you show me 1960s B-Man?
Give me the B-Man.
The Adam West.
It's like, let me make sure I have it because it's more boxy.
Yeah, it is.
So you're not drawing all these from memory. You're doing a little Google.
Okay.
No, this one I think.
No. Okay.
I think he is doing most
Dark
of these
Knight,
from memory.
Memory. I had to look at this one, and this one. So 50-50.
50-50.
Jesse, you've never seen Cats. You've never seen Cats.
I've never seen
Cats.
Cats.
Sing memories.
50-50. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, 2012. The 50-50 set in Seattle. Anyway, what was I going to say? What was I talking about before Ben?
Comedy. Something
comedy.
About you did the Bible joke.
Bible joke. Yes.
Oh
yeah. Oh, sorry. That was. Thanks for interrupting us, Ben. We were on such a good flow.
You asked me to do this.
In a more woke crowd, it works better because I've subverted expectations. I say, Dr. Seuss is racist. Duh. He's a white guy. And everybody goes, ha ha ha, you're so funny. And then I say something that Dr. Seuss could have said that was racist. And it surprises them and they get a laugh, even though they're more quote unquote woke. And the joke works.
That's really genius.
Not because I'm being racist maliciously. I'm commenting on racism and subverting expectations that, like, I'm using a stereotype that is old and worn out, honestly.
Yeah, genius. I literally saw Shane Gillis talking about how he loves to do like pro-Trump bits because he really isn't himself pro-Trump.
Yeah.
But he loves to do pro-Trump bits with liberal crowds. Like he's like the closer to the city I am, the funnier those bits are. He goes, you have to start by convincing people that you're a liberal Like
Yeah.
start by convincing people that you're like them, you're not conservative, and then he goes, you go into these pro-Trump bits
Yeah.
and they kill.
And if you can hit things that actually like are pro-Trump, but also are secretly
Yeah.
hitting the things that these people believe, and they go, I do actually really like that about him, but I'm not allowed to say it out loud.
Yeah, then people laugh from relief.
Right, totally.
Totally,
They
dude.
go, thank God this guy is saying it. It's in joke form, and we can laugh at it because it's all absurd. But you go, yeah, I don't like paying taxes. Like,
Right.
it's, like, I like keeping the money that I make.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Are you racist?
Yeah. It's a good point.
That's
All right.
so funny.
We need to wrap up.
Wait, I had
How many
some-
more Batman symbols do you
simple
have?
stuff.
Do we need to kill 20 more minutes?
Wait. I actually had something that I was going to mention today that's relevant to the topic. But
Can you please cut all these together to make an Instagram video of
That
just
would be
Ben
so
going,
great.
Dark Knight. 1989 Batman.
Batman with rollerblades. Batman when
Okay.
he's baking in the kitchen, but he's not baking conventional things. He's baking things that are Russian of origin.
So this is the one that's on his suit. right
Batman
here.
the night he got married.
Where-
Batman in the morning he got
Oh,
divorced.
in the 60s.
Yeah, this is the 60s one. But this is the actual TV logo.
But then his head, he
Dude,
has
those are
his.
so great.
It's like he's fanning. It's like he's fanning his cape.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Go to fanning
here's
escape.
my relevant thing. I've had a similar conversation with
Man
Sammy.
on Fire, 2004.
He's about to paint his masterpiece. He's an artist. His paintbrush is death. He's about to tickle so many men's rib cages with the bullets of his guns. They're gonna laugh so hard. It's gonna go in the museum. Put it right next to Picasso.
Oh, it's his masterpiece. I go, why is it in a museum if they're laughing because it's his masterpiece? I
both.
forgot that you were doing.
Tickle art.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Ben.
No,
Go
I don't
for
know.
it.
I mean, it's the end of the episodes. No one listening. But
We've
by
lost
this
them
point,
all 30 minutes
Yeah.
ago.
besides my dad, hi dad.
Hi, Dad.
So okay, me and Sammy had this conversation because I
I don't
always
think
give.
my parents have listened to a single episode.
No, I don't think
Ooh,
that.
I have
Your parents have
intentionally-
listened to enough for the both of Darius and my parents.
Yeah, I have hidden this deep in the annals from my parents.
Uh,
Just like my drugs across the border.
not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, I can go that direction.
Okay, so I've had this conversation with Sammy because he's always trying to perfect his guitar tone,
yeah.
and I always tell him that he sucks.
Yeah.
So, and I always hype up Manny because I do genuinely like the way his guitar sounds. But the reason why is because Sammy has the Sammy sound. He sounds like Sammy when he plays. But when we're on a Sunday morning, we're playing worship songs, and there's a specific sound, there's a specific style and tone you need for that type of music.
Which is
And
why you
Manny
should play the tracks instead of the electric
It's 'cause
guitar player.
Manny
live.
nails it perfectly. He has the exact dotted 8 delay,
Yeah.
the exact drive you need.
It's the
And
Hillsong effect.
Yeah,
Manny's
exactly.
a producer.
And he knows
Manny
exactly.
thinks like a producer and he plays like a producer.
He knows, and as someone who mixes, when I have a guitar player who is solid and can hit and just nails it throughout the whole song, it makes my job a lot easier. And like we just played, oh my gosh, what was the song we just played? Oh, Praise the Name. That's old school Hillsong.
Part of it.
And I was telling Sammy, I'm like, you know what? I knew, like, I think Sammy was originally supposed to be scheduled to play guitar, but him and Manny switched. And so Manny played guitar, Sammy played bass, and I was giving him a hard time. And I said, you know what? I'm glad you switched because for these songs, I would have much preferred Manny play. Here's what I'm trying to say. And Sammy's actually had this conversation. He says, I understand because he's like, I need to learn how to play like worship music. He's like, worship music is more simple and intentional. Like it's the chords, they're all very simple. The melodies, all the riffs, they're all
And
very
some of them
simple.
are still really hard. Like to Jesse's point, they're really simple. That doesn't mean they're really easy. Some of them are very, very difficult. And to play them over and over and over again for 3 minutes and not mess up is like really technically difficult.
And Sammy said, he's like, I have to practice playing like that.
Oh, I
have to-
will not.
he's like, I have to learn how to play like that and think like in that genre.
I'm
Because
impressed because Sammy's a better guitar player than I am, and I refuse to practice so that I can do those things.
But either way, I think that's pretty simple because he has to like learn the more simple things to be more effective in the genre that he's playing.
Way to bring it all back in, Ben.
Thank you.
This has been a New Way Stories podcast episode. New Way Stories joint. You can email the pod, newwaystoriespod@gmail.com. Like, subscribe on all of the platforms. And this would be a Batman symbol if he was on New Way Stories.
Oh! I'm going to screen grab that, and that's going to be the thumbnail.
Great
See you guys
callback.
next week, motherfuckers.
Oh!